So now as these three packages are already uploaded into the pypi Python library repository, what we can do, we can proceed proceed to building our Docker image. And now we can also discuss why we use Docker. So basically why we use Docker is because now I have developed this entire web service on my computer that is running on Ubuntu, and it has already a Python virtual environment which has its dependencies of Python library files that I can show you. So in project interpreter, if you see, these are all my Python dependencies that I need, along with other Linux packages and all that stuff. So now if I want to run this service into some other machine which has a different operating system, or it doesn't have all these dependencies installed, then it will be a really a bad situation, and it will cause real pain in recreating everything that my environment have in order to run this service. So here comes Docker. So what does Docker does? We package everything that we need in order to run this service into a image or a container file, and then we can run this Docker file in any other computer by just installing Docker and pulling the Docker image from the Dockerhub. So yeah, now let's see how a Docker file looks. So in image detection service, we already create a Docker file. A Docker file is nothing but a text file without any extension, and it is named as the Docker file. So the Docker file always starts from a base image, and the base image is what kind of kernel we want to use in order to run our code. There are a lot of base images that are already available in Dockerhub. So let's go and explore a few. So for this, we first need to go to Dockerhub. So once we are in Dockerhub is nothing but a container library, just like pypy on Nexus. So here you have to create an account. I already have an account from before. So once you are in the Dockerhub, you can explore what are the kind of base images that we have. So they have Alpine, they have NGX, Nodes, Postgre, MySQL, all kind of base images you can find here. So as we are building something that runs on Python, so we will search for Docker images of Python, and here you can see all the versions. From here you can select whatever Python version you want your kernel to be. So here what we used Python 3.8 Slim as builder. So it will build our environment with all the dependencies that we need. So after we select the base image, we can just run normal Linux commands by using the run command in Docker. And what it does, it will prepare the Linux environment with all the things that we need. So it first installs the dependencies, the Python dev, pip, and everything that it needs, and then what it does, it downloads all the library files that the Linux needs in order to run OpenCV, as we have them in our requirement.txt. Then what we do, we just mention the username and the version and everything that we need. And then basically what we do, we copy the requirement.txt that is here to the base directory of the base image, and there we then also install the dependencies that are there in the requirement.txt. So basically we export this requirement.txt from the pyproject.toml file where we mention all the dependencies that we need, and this is how we create all the dependencies and stuff. And then we copy the default config that we have here. So this is the configuration file that we already have here, and we copy this default config into etc directory where we already created a directory with our username, and the username was image detection service. Along with that, we also copied some of the files that we needed from here in order to run our service properly. So these are also now copied to the file systems of the respective base image, and then we just give it the read, write and execute permission for all the files in the directory. And after that we just expose the port. So this tells us which port to listen to and on which port of the Docker container it should expose the container. And then basically the CMD means when we use docker run, it uses this run CLI command that is also mentioned in our pyproject.toml. That run CLI means it will go to image detection service.run, and there we have a function called run CLI. So if you want to see in the image detection service.run in source, there is a called run CLI which actually starts the service. So once we have gone through the Docker file, how it is built, we can start building the Docker file. And how we build Docker file. So what we do docker build and then -t for tag. You can come and see how we build and tag the things here. So I'll also give the link to this very nice tutorial where you can read in detail what exposing a port means and everything. So I want to tag my build. So what I want to do is docker build and then your name or everything, or your username or stuff like that, and then the repository name that you wanna give. So basically if you come to my Dockerhub, so now we build Anushka 1990. So what it did, it successfully built my Docker. And now if I have to push it to the Dockerhub, what I need to do is docker build copy, docker push, and then basically it starts pushing everything. And I guess it is done. So if you come to Dockerhub, what will you see now is image detection service 3 that has been already there. Now go to docker run. What it does, it actually starts the service. So if you see, it has already started downloading the model of Yolo v4 from the Dropbox. As in the default config, what we did, we just mentioned the Dropbox access token and the access path, and the storage client is Dropbox, so it is downloading from the Dropbox. And once it has downloaded the service, what we can do is now check the status of the container. And if you see, understood thus 1990 image detection service 3 latest is actually up, and these are the ports that has been launched, and it has already started. So now if we do a local host, we will not be able to find it. So what we have to do, so there you see, now the Docker has exposed everything to these IPs. So now localhost, if we change localhost this IP, see, we have our API exposed here. So basically, and now if we want to detect something, we can detect from the running image. Try it out. We can choose any kind of picture. Let's try some animals. Let's try this one and execute. Do we have our response? Yes, it's a bird along with the bounding boxes and confidence. And if we see the log, yes, likewise we can send any kind of images. this one, and there are like two persons, a car, person 3, person 4, two cars. So yes, so this is how you can package your running Python APIs into a Docker and run them from anywhere, and how you can expose them through Dockerhub. Hope you like this video and you could learn something out of this. Up till next time, have a great day.